Music ready to go. And I believe we are recording. Yep, we are. So, are you ready, Dan?
Oh, so all that we just said, that's gonna be on the live. I mean, that's gonna be live when you post
It,
it or no?
no, 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 no.
Oh,
We
okay,
are,
okay.
yes, this is
I'm
after, yeah.
ready.
All
All
right,
right.
here we go. Have a great show.
Uh-huh.
I am free. Thank God I am free. I am.
This is I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free with Minister Diane Jones. Ladies, this is the show that's here to give you stories of hope and healing from someone who has been there, someone who has fought back from the horrors of incest. Minister Diane's innocence was stolen from her in the land of alcoholism and mental illness, which led to her being emotionally, physically, and sexually abused by her parents. Yet, in spite of the trauma of her early years, she went on to become a successful wife, mother, registered nurse, and minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Plus, she's a virtuous woman who can help you find that woman in your life. Don't let the weight of this world or things that happen to you control your life. This is I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free on TogiNet. And now, here is your host, Minister Diane Jones.
I'm a little slow there, but here I am. Here I am. I am so excited. I'm so happy to be back with you all. Let me see if I can sit up a little bit straighter here. I feel like I'm short. I feel like I'm short tonight. I'm not that short, y'all. Hey, hey, hey. This is me. This is me. I am so glad to be live. It's been a minute. Wow, I feel at home. I feel at home. Um, I have a lot to say. I have a lot to say, so that I don't just go off the rails. Let me flip to my notes and try to follow because I could just flow. You know what I'm saying? I could just flow. First of all, like some of you, I'm sure, uh, I have been dealing with the effects of the snowstorm Fern. Whew. I have been off work. The place where I work is for a school, and schools have been shut down all last week. Today, we were also shut down. I literally just got the word today that we will go in tomorrow after a 2 hour delay. So I, I get to sleep in a little bit like I've been doing, and I get moving again in terms of work. Oh, how did I know that was going to happen? I turned it down. My volume is down on my phone, but it rings anyway, these crazy phones. It's my daughter. She doesn't know that I was going live tonight because I've been off. I've been off since December 15th as far as live shows. Okay. And I didn't get a chance to tell her. She's been busy. I've been busy. So I didn't get a chance to tell her that I'm going to be, doing the radio program tonight. So that's my other phone ringing. I'm sorry if y'all can hear that. Back to where I was at. Let's see. Before the snow hit, as I said, I purposely took time off from doing the live radio program. Let me see. I'm gonna send her a message because she's being persistent. Uh, hold on a minute, you guys. Let me just say doing uh, radio show. Okay. She's probably gonna be like, "What, Mom? I didn't know that." But I purposely took time off from doing the live radio shows. Honestly, I wish I would have had someone that could have stepped in my place because I hate to have to take leave like this, but it is one of the advantages of having your own, of having something that's your own ministry. You can do it according to how you're led to function. Okay. And so if I'd had someone to fill in for me, we would have done that. I didn't. So we played encores during that time. I hope and pray that they were just as much of a blessing and enriching and educational and all that as doing a live. Okay. But it was necessary. It was necessary because there's only one me, and my plate is already so full that I barely have time to manage everything that I was doing. Radio shows on Mondays, counseling on Thursdays, women's group on Fridays, um, my own work schedule and my own life in terms of nursing and managing my household, whatever comes up in between. And I was barely able to manage that. So I knew I had to take some time off. I haven't been counseling during this period either. Counseling is a commitment. Counseling is a commitment. Okay. So that's what I've been up to. And during that time, I have accomplished some things with the help of my wonderful studio team. The Lord has blessed me to find a local studio by the name of Night Sky. And Ron is the proprietor, the owner, and he's, from what I understand, he's been doing this a long time, and it shows. And his services, his studio, came with the ability to hire some musicians to help me create the music to go with the melodies that were in my head and that I could hum and the lyrics that I wrote. Some of these songs I wrote, most of them I wrote beginning back in 1996, 96, 98, 99. Then there was a long gap in there. And then I think 2000 was when I wrote another one for the love of my life, uh, or relating to or because of the love of my life, Chris Jones. And then there was a long gap where I wasn't writing. I was still involved in music, but not writing. I never had the opportunity to actually produce. Scooney, he's the master musician behind the songs that I'm releasing now. He was the one who began to tell me, Miss D, he calls me Miss D, you're not just a songwriter, you're not just a singer. He said, I don't know if you realize this, but you are a producer. You are a producer, because I would come with the lyrics, with the melody, with the idea of how the song needed to be, and he would be able to grasp that, interpret it, and create it for me and with me. So he said, you have he said, wow, you've got all three. You've got more than um the average person, I guess, when it comes to musical abilities. He said, you've got more than you realize here. So he began to really encourage me in what I'm doing. And I'm kind of going off the rails a little bit, but it's still in tune with what I wanted to say. So, but it's not in my notes. Everything that I just said wasn't in my notes about Scooney and Night Sky and so forth. So we have been accomplishing some good things. Um, we created and released two more songs since my first song, which I released back last year in April of last year. I was oh my goodness, if it was up to me, I was so pleased, and the response was so good to me that I would have been back in the studio like the next week if I could have been, but I couldn't. So, um, when we went back into the studio, we started in December, the first week in December, and we met once a week for 4 weeks, and we completed I'm Believing This, um Lord Jesus, why am I having a mental block? Shake It Off. um we completed a song called What's Up. I'm not going to say too much about that one because I haven't released it yet. um One called My Memories hasn't been released yet. I actually did my first music video with Scooney's co-producer, who is a videographer. He is more involved with, promoting the videos, making videos, interviews, some of the technical things. But this is what we've accomplished while I've been gone. And I want to talk more about how the Lord is helping me to make my music dreams come true. Inspired by Him, I believe, but my dreams that He's given me, desires that I've had for many, many years. I'll be back after the break.
Has the tragic past shattered your future or your now? Don't let it. This is I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free with Minister Diane Jones. And we'll be right back after these.
Equipping the Saints Ministries. Our mission is to equip and mature the people God calls to do the things they are called to do with confidence and boldness, to create soldiers for the army of the Lord, and to impact our communities. We are home based in Waldorf, Maryland. If you would like more information, you may email us at etsministriesinc@gmail.com or write to us at ETS Post Office Box 72, Waldorf, Maryland 20602. If you are not local, you may participate via conference calls, and we can make information available to you by email. ETS.
Little did I know what was about to grow. A love so pure. Oh, little did I know. How could I know? You are so sure.
The Story of Me is a captivating and inspiring account of a woman able to overcome incest, physical abuse, abandonment, and neglect to find a second chance at happiness. It is a story for those who have been rejected, who have dreamt and fallen short, who have survived traumas such as molestation, rape, or incest. The Story of Me is very inspirational for those who may find themselves in Jones's story. You may purchase your copy of The Story of Me online at authorhouse.com, this show's host page, amazon.com, or any of the major bookstores. The Story of Me.
Thank God I
Welcome back to I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free on TogiNet.com, the show dedicated to helping women find their way back to themselves after innocence was stolen by incest and abuse. Helping you heal. It's what we're all about. It's I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free on TogiNet. And now, back to your host, Minister Diane Jones.
All right, people. I'm just smiling because I am so amazed at how good this feels, how good it feels to be back on the air with you. Before the break, or actually during the break, you heard a little snippet of my first single. It was called Missing Your Love. It is called Missing Your Love. I'm going to show you one of the CDs that I burned myself. Let's see, can you see that? Yeah, there you go. Missing Your Love. I should have turned the CD around so you can see it upright. But I got a favorable response to this. This one was one of the ones that I recorded in 2022 after the love of my life went home to be with the Lord, and I was missing him something fierce. I was missing him. And that inspired this song. Well, as I mentioned, I got to create a video with the help of Carlton B. Sampson, who is the co-partner with Scooney, co-production team locally here where I'm at. I got to make a video to go along with this, and it's going to be released on the 9th of February. So I've only shown it to a very few people because it wasn't live yet. And my daughter, of course, was one of them, and she is biased, but her response was real. It was real. She called me back and she was crying. She said, "Mom, it is beautiful." She said, "It is beautiful." She said, "You accomplished your goal. You accomplished your goal." And she shared it with someone that she happened to be with at the time, and they complimented how beautiful it was. So I am truly grateful. I am truly excited about what the Lord is allowing me to do, reassuring me about doing. But because of this, it has caused me to prayerfully search how let me change that. It's caused me to prayerfully think about my my um my concerns as I move forward in this project, um because of mindsets mindsets and vices, I'm going to say, that believers in particular may have, because a lot of, well, especially the beginning, the first group of songs that I've done recently, not the one about Chris, not the Missing Your Loved One, but the ones since then have not been love songs. They have not been gospel. They have been life songs. They've been songs about what I was going through at the time in my life. And I know because of how I was raised, when I was a girl and up until my teens, and even my early 20s, I would say, early 30s even. I know the mindset that I had. I know the bondage that I was in concerning any music that was not quote unquote gospel. Okay. The church that I grew up in, that I got my foundation, my understanding of the Lord, came to salvation in, was a holiness Pentecostal Church of God in Christ. Okay. And they taught that anything other than gospel music, and it had to have a certain sound even. Okay. and I do still think that gospel shouldn't be so I don't know how, what am I trying to describe? It shouldn't be so like R&B-ish and fleshly that it makes you uh, want to move and groove in a sensual way, or in a um, overly exaggerated uh, that it shouldn't inspire you to remember your sinful days. I don't think gospel music should do that. If you're going to call it gospel, I believe it can be upbeat. It could have various kinds of beats and rhythms, but it should still cause you to think on the things of God and the Lord, etc. It should still cause you think of what God brought you out of, things like that. But that is one reason that I want to address the topic that I'm going to do. Um, yes, the Lord is allowing me to fulfill dreams. He's making my dreams come true, and I've been given prophetic words from the Lord directly, and even from others that have encouraged me to know that when the time came for this, that it was going to be something amazing, that it was going to be something that would touch and impact lots of people at a significant time. And I am getting um, I'm being told those same things now, even as I embark upon this project. So that is my prayer. But I want to do a series, because if people are like me, if you're like me, or you were raised the way I was raised, then you may have struggles about music itself, about secular versus gospel, worldly versus Christian. Um, that whole dynamic can be a struggle. It can be a struggle. It was for me. And so the Lord began to personally deal with me about it many, many years ago. And during that time, he also began. That's when he began to let me know that 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 is something that I would be doing on a bigger scale. I've been involved with music as long as I can remember. Okay. I started out singing in church as a girl. My mom taught me and my siblings how to sing, and we sang in church. And I wrote songs even as a teen, as the world calls a teen, for my siblings and I to sing. I sang in school choirs, and interestingly, that didn't bother me, and my mother didn't have an issue with it. Our songs were not all gospel songs. Um, there might have been I remember that one of my teachers actually taught us some Negro spirituals. That's what they were called, that I really enjoyed. But I was introduced to other styles of music, Ave Maria and Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer true. So I sang in my school choirs. Then I went from that to, well, back in my day, Soul Train, once I became a preteen or teen, preteen into teens, Soul Train was a big thing. And I actually used to watch Soul Train, even though my church didn't agree with it. And I was highly influenced by Soul Train. My own father, who started out in the church and backslid, was a big Motown sound man and played R&B music on the weekends, in particularly. Very, very talented vocalist, could sing very well. My mother could sing beautifully. So music has been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. Um, From singing in school choirs, I began to sing in my church choir in the Church of God in Christ. And it was all out gospel at that point because it's like, no, it's a sin if you sing anything else but gospel. And I bought it hook, line, and sinker. Okay. Um, Went through some struggles in my walk, backslid, came back, backslid, came back, rebelled, came back. And during one of my most severe periods that I talk about in my book, that I've talked about on this radio program, um, I actually got involved in a gospel singing group. Look how the Lord orchestrates things. The founder and the organizer of that group was a man named Harry Hudley. I've since lost touch with him and I've tried to find him because there's one of his songs that he gave me to sing that very much impacted me. It impacted me in such a profound way. And he gave me permission to sing that song. And I have sang that song. And I'm actually going to uh, produce that one too. I have it on MP3 where Chris played it for me because he used to be my accompanist most of the time. We became a duo and he used to play for me most of the time. It's actually the theme song that's on this radio program. So all I have is his guitar that I used to sing to, but I'm going to introduce it to the team and have them help to fully develop the song. And I'm going to release that one too once we get to that song. So I ended up in a gospel group. Then, actually, before the gospel group, I ended up in a couple of local bands. When I was living in California, I was involved with Knee Deep and I was involved with Old School Beat before then. So, Old School Beat, we were doing more old school sound, and Knee Deep, we were doing a variety of things. We were doing everything from um, my goodness, from Sade to Janet Jackson to I think we did some of Shaka Khan, just various things, various things. Okay. Then the Lord restored my relationship to Him and my commitment to Him. And I went back to singing in church, praise and worship. That's when praise and worship teams became popular and versus choirs. Although I had a short stint in my church where I was allowed to attempt to start a choir in the church because we didn't have one at the time. And all you know what broke out because the devil got busy in some of the people's lives that were not strong in the Lord and caused mess. And the pastor didn't know how to deal with it, so he just canceled everything canceled everything. Okay. But being restored, the Lord actually pulled me out of the band. Me and Chris were in the last band together. He pulled us out of the band. He said, "Will you give it up for me?" We said yes. I'm thinking that that's because that's not his will, that secular singing and performing secular music is not his will. But he also took me out of singing that much in church either. I went through a long period of time where I didn't get opportunities to sing that much. Chris continued to play a lot more than me, and I didn't get as many opportunities. And the Lord actually told me to kind of chill out and don't get ahead of him. And it's like I had to go through a process of growth and strengthening me, and all kinds of things were happening in our lives. Um, all the way up to when we came here to the East Coast, I got even less opportunities. I got a few here and there, but the warfare was unbelievable and the rejection was unbelievable. And since Chris passed, I haven't been singing basically for the past 5 years. I had one opportunity to sing. So I'll come back to that after the break.
Has a tragic past shattered your future or your now? Don't let it. This is I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free with Minister Diane Jones. And we'll be right back after these.
A Black Nurse. This narrative is about the struggles of being a black woman and a black professional in a society bound with racial and gender bias. She has hopes, dreams, needs, a purpose, and aspirations, but faces constant opposition to fulfilling these basic human requirements. Like so many people of color before her, she achieves some measure of success, but her success is minor compared to what she must do to achieve it. It's time for a change. Get your copy today from authorhouse.com, this show's host page, or any major book retailer like amazon.com. A Black Nurse.
Little did I know what was about to grow. A love so pure. Oh, little did I know. How could I know you were so sure? Thank God I am free. I am free.
Welcome back to I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free on TogiNet.com. The show dedicated to helping women find their way back to themselves after innocence was stolen by incest and abuse. Helping you heal. It's what we're all about. It's I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free on TogiNet. And now, back to your host, Minister Diane Jones.
Okay, you all, I showed you one of the CDs that I burned. I burned some CDs because I had family members and some people connected to our ministry, Equipping the Saints Ministries, that are like in my age range or older, who requested CDs instead of going online to listen to music through one of the music platforms like DistroKid, that's my distributor, YouTube, where my videos are on YouTube. I'm sorry, my songs are on YouTube. What's Apple Music, Spotify, some of the other majors. I think there's one called iTunes and iHeartRadio. There's people like me that are not into all of that. You know, I grew up in the vinyl records era, and we went to cassette tape, 8-track tapes, and then we went to cassette tapes, and then we went to, you know, was the CD after that? After the cassette tapes, I want to say that CDs came next, you know, and even listening to the radio and recording our tapes from the radio. So people like me are still, you know, we're not necessarily down with all this modern stuff, even though we have to use it if we want to be, if we want to reach people. So I'm doing a combination of both. All right. I have burned some CDs and I've ordered some supplies so that I can burn more if I get requests from people like me who want a CD. Right now, I'm releasing these singles one at a time. My long-term goal, and I'm jumping around a little bit here, is to put this all together into one album, one compilation, one album that will become the soundtrack for the movie that I hope to one day produce about my book. You can see the posters in the back, but I can also show you an actual book about my book, The Story of Me. You heard during the commercial break that this is a story. It's a powerful story. It's a powerful story that shares what God can do in someone's life and how he can take what the enemy meant for evil and turn it into something good, turn it into something valuable. And that is what he has done in my life. And the book has been out. This particular book has been out. It's been published since 2004, I believe. I want to say that's when I published it. I wrote it in 2002. And yeah, published in 2004. And it hasn't done great. It hasn't done great. I haven't blown up. I haven't become, rich or anything like that. It I still sell copies on hand, or I give them away, even to if I know people that cannot actually afford it and really really want it, then I'll keep a supply on hand just so that I can make sure that people have it. But I am hoping that the music and the soundtrack, even though I'm putting the music out first instead of the movie first, I'm hoping that it will revive and expand the reach of my book, The Story of Me. It blows my mind, except unless it just hasn't been time, that this book isn't more popular, because the sexual abuse and the sexual trauma and the the prevalence of all of that is just astounding. It's astounding. And it blows my mind that this hasn't reached more people, that more people are not interested. But I'm hoping that the music project, that the making of my music dream coming true will help enhance this. All right. So let me go back to my notes here. I do believe that I am fulfilling prophetic words that were given to me at this time from more than 20 years ago. And even more recently, I had one individual who, that's the thing about prophetic words, that you do have to decipher through some of them, because the source may not be pure. The source may not be pure, and if that's the case, then I struggle with receiving the whole word. But the Lord taught me years ago that God can use, even if a person's life is not where it should be, if they have a prophetic gift, God can still speak to through them. I don't know why my laptop is acting up. I hope that's not showing on the video. God can still speak through them if they have a prophetic gift.
Okay, Diane, you should be in, so just wrap up your thought, and then we will go to break.
Okay. So I do believe that I am fulfilling prophetic words that were given to me over 20 years ago, and some more recently, although some of them I, wasn't 100% sure about because of the source. But I do know that the Lord can use a person even if they're not where they should be, if they have a prophetic gift and they use it, and they're inspired to use it. So either way it goes, this project has now come to life at a time in my life when I didn't expect it, but I began to be stirred up about it. I began to be stirred up about doing something with my music. Like I said, some of these songs were written, that's more than 20 years ago, more than 25 years ago even. And
1 minute.
they've just been on the shelf, so to speak. And I began to feel stirred up about it, and I had to start making it happen. Sometimes it's like that. It's not like it's convenient. It's not like you have everything that you need to do everything that you need to do, but you just
30.
got to get started. You got to get started. And so that's what I've done. And I'm going to talk more about this after the break. All right? I'll see y'all back here in a few minutes.
Has a tragic past shattered your future or your now? Don't let it. This is I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free with Minister Diane Jones. And we'll be right back after these.
Millions of people are sexually abused each and every day, not just by rape, child molesters, or pedophiles, but by choice and through lifestyle preferences. Who would enjoy being raped again and again? Why is rape spiritual as well as physical? Can a sex offender be healed from abusing others? Find answers to these and other questions in the pages of Overcoming Sexual Abuse by Minister Diane Jones. Available online at authorhouse.com, this show's host page, amazon.com, and any major bookstore. Overcoming Sexual Abuse.
Little did I know what was about to grow. A love so pure. Oh, little did I know. How could I know? You were so sure. Thank God I am free. I am free.
Welcome back to I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free on TogiNet.com, the show dedicated to helping women find their way back to themselves after innocence was stolen by incest and abuse. Helping you heal. It's what we're all about. It's I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free on TogiNet. And now, back to your host, Minister Diane Jones.
Okay, people, we had to do a switcheroo, and I am right now on the phone. I'm trying to reboot my computer just because I want to know what the problem is, and I'm reminded of something that I did want to mention to you all tonight, and that on my screen when I first opened my laptop, the screensaver that is on there, not one that I put on there, but the one that just automatically came up, is a beautiful picture with it looks like a tree that has beautiful flowers, but it has two beautiful birds in the picture. And that was even a reminder to me. And it was even, it touched me because several years ago when my daughter and I started, we had the opportunity to write some jingles for a company, for a man who needed jingles for his company to promote his pancake mixes. I picked a logo that had two birds. I believe they were canaries because canaries are known for singing. And I picked a logo for our project at the time to represent singing, canaries singing, birds singing. And that is the concept of the business that I want to eventually evolve from all of this, called Making Music Dreams. Okay? And so I go on the laptop to get ready for the show tonight, and there is this big, beautiful picture. That to me is a representation of how the Lord often speaks to us. So before the break, I was talking to you about prophetic words and nudges that the Lord has given me along the way, that this would be something that I would be doing on a bigger scale. Okay? I've already told you some of what we have done. If you go to my radio show page, today I posted an article and I posted a press release. It's telling you some of what I've already told you, the names of the songs, the years that they were written, not the years that they were released, but the years that they were written. It's got a picture of my book. If you go to the radio show page, you can actually get the book. You can actually click the links are up now for all three of the songs. You can go straight to the source, one of the sources anyway, the YouTube source. I could have used DistroKid because that's who I'm distributed by, but I am not sure if that one, if people are as familiar with that one as they are with YouTube. So that's why I chose to upload it through YouTube. But had I not lost my visual, I was going to show you pictures of the other CDs for I'm Believing This, as well as Shake It Off. But I lost my visual capability for some reason. So, before I forget, I want to let you know that all of this activity gave me an idea for a series. And that series that I'm going to be talking about while I'm promoting these works of mine is going to be on music. What does the Bible actually have to say about music? I thought it would be a good idea to do a series on this because, like myself, many people struggle with this very thing when it comes to secular versus gospel. I had it all queued up and ready to go, and then I had to answer my daughter. Let's see. I had to answer my daughter, so let's see if I can find. Oh, I think I just found it. Hold on a second. What does the Bible have to say about music? I found. Nope, that's not it. Well, I'll have to pull it up in my email, but I found a website that is called bbnradio.org, and it has this awesome article that made it easier for me without having to spend as much time as I would like to spend pulling this all together. But it's called What the Bible Has to Say About Music, okay? And one of the things that grabbed my attention immediately was in the opening, it said the Old Testament alone. The Old Testament alone has 1,000 references to music. Okay? And then it goes on to say that 31 out of 39 books in the Old Testament mention music. And I was like, wow, when you put it like that, that is, that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot. Now, of course, I already knew that music was something that, for one, the Lord created. I knew that Lucifer, before he fell and before he rebelled and before he became Satan, was the worship leader in heaven, and he was over music, what we know as music. That was his prestigious position. I knew that off the top of my head, of course, because of reading the Bible over the years. I certainly knew that King David wrote what we refer to as psalms, which are a form of poetry as well as musical, songs with music and accompaniment. I knew that King Solomon, King David's son, wrote the Songs of Solomon. Okay, so I'm familiar with the fact that the Bible has people in it who were deep into music, who that was one of their giftings. It was something that they are gifted in. A more modern day pastor that comes to my mind, and he has not too long ago passed away, is Jimmy Swaggart. Jimmy Swaggart came out of performing secular music. He was, I believe, related to, I don't want to say it wrong, so I won't say, but he was related to someone who was very famous. And then when he got saved, the Lord pulled him completely out of secular music, and he went on to sing and play and write and produce beautiful, beautiful, beautiful gospel music. And his church was just infused with that. It was infused with that. So I had some knowledge of this fact, of these facts. But in this series, I think it's going to get more interesting because there's a whole lot more here than I even remembered. Okay, a whole lot more than I remembered. It says the first mention of music among humans is Genesis 4:20 through 22. Okay, of course I got my internet back up, but we're almost we only got a few minutes left, so we're not going to worry about it at this point. But Genesis 4:20 through 22. I'm sorry, Roy, what was that?
Sorry, just 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. And it is presented along with other foundations that are essential. Listen to this, people, that are essential and basic to human existence. I mean, that is powerful. That is powerful. The Lord created music. God created music in heaven for Him, for His pleasure, for His kingdom in heaven. So it was already essential in some way, even on a supernatural level, on a above human level. Can you digest that? I'm feeling it as I'm saying it, okay? But then it says here, it's mentioned in Genesis 4:20 through 22, I didn't think to bring my Bible where I could actually read that to you. Maybe the next time I can. And it says it's presented along with other foundations that are essential. Essential means necessary. Necessary and basic to human existence. Music is not, just a luxury. It's not just extra. It's essential. Now, am I saying that we can't live without it? No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it's a very huge part of the
30.
human need. Okay? So I can see how this is going to get interesting. This is going to get interesting. If you would like me to send you a CD, hit me up through our email. Well, I guess you can do it through ETS. Eventually, I'll have to let you get my personal email. But for now, ETS Ministries, Inc. @gmail.com. Okay? Or you can go to one of our social media platforms, like on Facebook, and you can send me a message, Facebook Messenger, or you can just plug into one of those modules on the radio show page and enjoy.
I am free. Thank God. I am free. I am free.
Thank you for being a part of I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free with Minister Diane Jones on TogiNet. Ladies, this is your chance to join us for stories of hope and healing from someone who's been there, someone who has fought back from the horrors of incest. Minister Diane's innocence was stolen from her in the land of alcoholism and mental illness, which led to her being emotionally, physically, and sexually abused by her parents. Yet, in spite of the trauma of her early years, she went on to become a successful wife, mother, registered nurse, and minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ. This is a straight-up show to enlighten and to lighten your load. Don't let the weight of this world or things that happen to you control your life. For more information on Diane and her book, go to her show page here on TogiNet and email her directly. Then, get set to join us here again next Monday night for I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free with Minister Diane Jones.